So the best thing for you to do is to give yourself kind of a sugary, salty, some little fat in it snack before nighttime to kind of help support it. So if your liver's not storing it, it can utilize the energy that you're giving yourself in the evening time to help to help get yourself to sleep, and also to help keep you asleep. And that's depending. I mean, some people do well with a high fat, high sugar food like ice cream, and that will keep them asleep well into the night. And I know you've done that, and I've done that, but that doesn't usually go hand in hand with weight loss, but it will get you to sleep, right? So you kind of have to figure out what is most important at whatever stage. And I think, like we've always said, is when you start this, and if you are in a severely damaged state, more than likely you're going to gain weight, because your body needs the calories and maybe can't utilize them yet because you've adapted to a slow metabolic state. But more importantly, it needs a ton of this nutrition. And, for somebody that's been consuming a 1,200 calorie diet and probably needs 2,500 calories really to heal, and needs that much nutrition to heal, you're going to go through a process where your body's going to put on some weight. It's just inevitable. Well, but getting back to the snack, so it's just going to help you regulate blood sugar through the night. That's why it's recommended to have a salty, sugary snack, because both of those things are going to help bring down your stress hormones.
I think too, like we're just back to her. She's saying to me, but like, I'm hungry. I'm like, well, if you're hungry, you need food. Like, you're hungry. Your body's hungry. You need to just eat your small regular meals and, listen to it. It's telling you that you need, and it does suck. Like, I know no one wants to gain weight. We understand.
No, it does. It absolutely sucks to gain weight. Nobody loves it. As soon as you allow it to occur and start resisting that, this is part of the process, and you understand it and just let it be, but have faith that it will be just part of the journey. It's not where you're going to end up. I think it's an opportunity to try to like love yourself for more than just your body. I think that it is because so many women beat themselves up and think they're not, I'm not good enough because I'm fat or I'm thin or whatever it is that you tell yourself. I know I've done it. I mean, I've so had those conversations before in my head, and it's so not helpful. So to go through that process and give yourself enough space and allow yourself enough love to say, I'm going to take care of myself, and that might mean this, and I'm going to be okay. And, and I can learn to love myself as I am right now, with still working on myself to get better.
A lot, we have a lot of women that don't gain weight. We've had a lady in a program, really severe. She still hasn't got a period back, but she's had no period for years and years and years. But she was averaging 1,000 calories, and now she's eating 2,250. And as lean as when she started, and her temperature has come up 1 degree. It was like 35.5. Now it's 36.5, which is amazing. But she's ultra consistent. I think that's another thing too. Like, I see a lot of women, and you've got to be honest with yourself. Am I eating consistently? Am I tracking and doing things consistently? Or am I, I see women go, oh yeah, but I put on this weight, but I see them fucking drinking piss on the weekend. Or, I log into MyFitnessPal and they're way high in their fat macros, and they're, like not eating enough protein. It's like, well, you're not really being consistent, and as good as you can to, I guess, because I find with a lot of women, like even some though that do it really consistently, will still gain weight. They still will. But if you follow the process and you track and you measure and you be honest with yourself, you can, a lot of them do come out without gaining weight, and they lose weight,
I think it all can depend on the person, and all can depend, like you said, how consistent they are. It all depends on where they started and how slow they might move, and kind of be consistent with how they're putting everything in. I mean, there's no set that you're going to, but there is a decent possibility that you could. You just need to be aware of that.
Let's go back, because you mentioned talking about, so, like metabolism at a basic level is the rate at which your cells make energy. So your mitochondria, the powerhouse of your cells, and you talked about they repair themselves while they're asleep. So can you talk a bit more about that?
Well, I mean, during rest, that's when the mitochondria repair themselves in your sleep state. So if you aren't sleeping, you're essentially going to damage the mitochondria. That is what's using energy. So if you're, and also in the sleeping state, you can produce more mitochondria. So by sleeping, you're essentially going to increase metabolic rate. And by not sleeping, you're going to put yourself under more stress, damage the mitochondria, and decrease metabolic rate. So it goes hand in hand with a high metabolism. But like I've always said, the higher your metabolism rate, I always refer to like a child. Children have high metabolisms and they sleep great. I mean, children can fall asleep anywhere. They can sleep deeply. They don't get waken up. They can sleep for 10 to 12 hours deep. They wake up and they're champ. As you get older, your sleep gets less. Now, you don't require as much when you're not in a growth phase. However, it gets disrupted because of the stressors you put upon yourself, and you start to have a breakdown in how your cells utilize energy. Right. And so it just kind of works, like I said, hand in hand. So if you work on the nutrition part while you're awake, you actually do supportive things to help your body heal, the sleep will improve. And as the sleep improves, then that's only going to help with the weight loss and everything else that you're looking for.
And one of the other things that we've talked about previously, obviously we're very pro strength training, because a few reasons, like everyone wants to look better, and that's okay. But if you want to look better, you want to look toned, women want to look toned, then you need to have more muscle, but muscle at rest burns fat for fuel. So, the more muscle you have, then while you're sleeping, you're just going to burn more fat at rest.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, muscle and it only also produces testosterone, which is an anabolic hormone, right? That is also going to support a higher metabolism. But yeah, the more muscle tissue you have, the higher your metabolism is going to be, the more restful your sleep is going to be. So again, as we've discussed, you don't want to be burning fat while you're awake. Everybody thinks they want to. You're going to do this workout so you can burn fat during this workout. No, you don't. You want to be burning sugar during your workout. You want to be burning sugar while you're thinking. You want to be, because that's the most usable energy for those kind of processes. You don't want to be in that fat burning state when you're in a high oxidative state. And that's what people are doing, right? It's much more protective to be consuming sugar. And also sugar is the fuel that's going to support a higher metabolic rate. As soon as your body starts utilizing fat as energy, its kind of feedback system is there's not enough sugar, slow down metabolism. Right? So essentially, but when you're in the sleeping state, the body feels safe enough to start utilizing fat directly, the heart, the muscle tissue as energy. And so in that sleeping state is when you want to be burning your fat.
Sleep and food.
Sleep.
Yeah, just sleep. Eat a bit more food and have a good sleep. And I think, as women, just give yourself permission to rest. It's going to be the best thing for your body if you're tired. Eat some yummy food, eat some nice sugars and also ice cream. Or whenever I'm really because we push hard, but I'm good. I'll know when I push too hard, and I'll go and I'll have, some of my favorite foods, and then I'll have a sleep. I'll carb up and then I'll go to bed. And I wake up in the morning feeling heaps better.
Yeah. I mean, and again, that, and if you're in it, like I said, that will help you sleep better if you're in part of this healing process. And it's easy to overconsume those foods. And when you're in the healing state, your body doesn't know how to utilize all that energy yet. It can learn to. So you just have to be careful to not eat too much, even though it will help you sleep better. And I hear it all the time. I sleep better, I feel better, have more energy, right? But I feel bigger and whatever. And I'm like, give it time, because it will start to regulate. And as you continue to do that process, the weight will start to come off. It's just hang on, right? And then at the end of the day, you're going to be way better off. You're going to be way better off in a year from now. In a year from now, you're not going to feel better, look better, sleep better, but you're going to be eating a crap load more food and not constantly obsessing about eating and how you're, whatever. It's just going to be an easier journey, but you got to put in the work.
Yeah, totally. And remember, ask yourself, I say this to women all the time, how long have you been doing what you've been doing? How many years did it take you to get to where you are? Sometimes 10, 20, even 30 years. Well, you've been doing this for 3 months. So it's going to take a lot longer. For some women, it'll take a few years, 2 to 3 years,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're really sick, it might take longer. Yeah. I mean, this is for the chronic fatigue people or whatever. I mean, these are people that it might take a while, right? It really would. With you doing consistent work for whatever that you can handle. I mean, everybody's different, but the quicker you get started, the better off you're going to be. And, and you're still going to have stressors in your life that are going to throw you off. And you're going to back on, but you know, and I have clients that they monitor where they are in their health by how well they're sleeping. If their sleep gets off, they know they need to start reining it in again. Like, oh, something's happening at work. I'm not eating enough, not doing this. It's, you know, they regulate it by it because they're like, if I don't sleep, then everything gets thrown off. And that's totally true. You can do it again. You can do it in your 20s, you can do it in your 30s. I did it consistently for probably 20 plus years. But you know, you get late, it just doesn't work long term, and it will start wrecking you.
Totally. And you know, I say to women, you know, like say you're in your 40s, you know, spend 1 to 2 years, 3 years doing this, but then you're free for the rest of your life and you'll probably live longer. So it's like a few years for, you know, 60 years of freedom. To me, it's totally worth it. And you just get to eat nice food again.
Yeah. I mean, you can keep going on the path you are, maybe stay a little bit thinner for the next year or two, or you probably maybe gain a few pounds, you know, even on the path that they're on, but you're going to start feeling a hell of a lot shittier. Or you can start suck it up, maybe gain a little bit more weight and do the right things. And in a year or two, you're gonna feel a hell of a lot better and have a way better chance of getting the weight off and so forth. And so, you know, choice is yours. At the end of the day, but, I mean, you know, and I know it's a hard thing to grasp for a lot of people. It's a hard thing to put their mind around. I get it. I mean, we've all been there. You know, Kitty and I were just talking about, God, we're always so amazed that this works so well. Still today. I mean, I'm doing this 8 years and I'm like, it really works. It's like,
it's so good.
And it's so gratifying because it does, you know, and
eating so much food.
Right. And it's just gratifying that you're like, God, like, it's so easy and it's just such a better path. But,
God. And just being in control, like being back in the driver's seat of your own nutrition, you know, like I don't let anyone, like I do my own food and I really like, you know, I was talking about how I'm really pushing my calories up now because my training's really heavy, but it still amazes me. Like I'm eating 2,700 calories a day. Like what the actual fuck? It's incredible. From where I've come from 4 years ago, eating 1,600 calories. And it really is, it's that consistency over time. Like you've got to put the work in and be consistent. You can't, you know, like I see some women comment on, I've even seen them comment on your post, like, oh, I've been doing it. And I'm like, I know you haven't been consistent. Like stop lying to yourself. Like dig deep. The only person that you're hurting is yourself. And if you really truly want to, you know, discipline will set you free. It will. You know, like I went away on not on holidays, but we went to Melbourne and I didn't track any of my food. I just ate. I only trained once because we were just too busy. And I came back the same weight. The same, you know, and I like enjoyed my food. I just made good choices. I listened to my body. And to me, and I didn't feel bad about it. You know, I just, you know, now I'm tracking again because I'm back into training and I need to make sure I've got enough energy, but it's having that ability to understand what your body needs and not be scared of food and actually like not look at your body and hate yourself. Like I really believe that, like I want that for every woman. But you can't get to that place. Like Kate's obviously, you've put in a lot of work over the years to get yourself to where you are, to have this freedom.
Yeah. And you will, like I said, and in my lifetime, I have made many choices that have thrown me completely off of my game to learn more, as I like to say it. And, you know, but it's a constant, you got to keep it up, you know, but ultimately, what I have to think about now, considering my food, usually it's more concern of like, have I eaten enough? I need to eat more. Did I eat enough today? That's usually the questions I'm always asking myself now. Oh, I got busy and I need to eat more. I didn't eat enough. Oh my God, you know, which was never the concern before. Most women don't have that. They're always like, I ate too much today. I binged, I did this, you know, all of those. And those, you know, those are not your fault. That's just the result of crappy diets that have created some dysregulation in your body. Because I assure you, if you get regulated properly, all of that crazy thoughts and things that you've been doing just stop. You know, but you have to put in that work and trust the process, because then you'll just start realizing, hey, I'm not obsessing about food. Hey, I'm not even that hungry. Hey, you know, I ate all this food. It's good. Hey, my weight's stabilizing. Huh?
Yeah. But it will be worth it. Like, and ask yourself, if I continue on the path I'm on for the next 2, 3, 4 years, like where will I be? Well, I'll be probably in a worse position versus if I knuckle down and stop. You know, I think, and I sort of had this in my head initially too when I started. I was like, my views around tracking was that it was restrictive, because I think in the past, whenever I tracked, it'd be like 1,200 fucking calories. Whereas now I look at tracking as a great tool and to ensure that I'm eating enough. And so I can identify where I can because I just want to be really optimized. Like I enjoy going, how can I get better sleep? How can I perform better in my training? How can I have better energy? You know, how can I want to have more sex with Craig? You know, he would like that too. You know, and
he's like track, Katie, track.
He's like, do it more. But, you know, like changing your view around tracking instead of looking at it as something that's.
Yeah, it's not there to punish you. It's not there to say you can't eat anymore. It's there to give you information, period. And say, hey, this is what happens when you do this. Hey, how are you feeling? Because ultimately it's going to help you learn to eat more, not less. And you're going to use it as a reward system and just an understanding. It's just a good feedback system, right? It's not there to punish you.
Oh, we got a bit off the topic of sleep, but
yeah, as we always do.
as we always do. But that's great. But everyone just, you know, like focus on the things that we've talked about, eating more consistently throughout the day and having your bedtime snack. And I think the bedtime routine's a really important one because I found myself doing that for a while, like looking at my phone right up until I got into bed. And I've really tried now to turn my laptop off at 8, stop responding to messages by 8:30, and then, you know, having the dinner and going to and reading my book, which is really nice and helps me wind down. So I think that's a really important thing as well. And
Yep. I mean, I think taking a warm Epsom salt bath a few hours prior to bed, not right before. And I also say warm, not hot. Hot bath can help stimulate you and keep you up. But a warm Epsom salt bath, an hour or two, is a great way to help settle your system and relax your system. I mean, anything that you find relaxing, along with regulating blood sugar and eating the right foods. You know, if you're feeling tired and you're feeling like you're gaining weight and you're feeling like life feels a little crazy and you're sleeping 6 or 7 hours a night, then you got to work on that. Like that needs to be a priority in your healing process.
And you have to say no.
Again, what's that?
You have to say no sometimes. You have to say no to people.
It's all little boundaries. Boundaries are big during this process. And I think a lot of women have a hard time with their boundaries, but this is going to help you. You know, you got to like say, I'm worth it. I want to do this, you know, and just make some choices, whether it's 1 or 10 or whatever you can handle, you know, start making optimal choices to support yourself. All the other shit that you're hearing out there is just going to mess with you. Sorry, it is.
Totally. Yeah, there is no other way. We've tried every one of them. I saw something on Facebook. I was like, someone was commenting about this group. It was keto, but fasting, intermittent fasting plus keto. I was like, oh God, that's like, could you combine the worst two like things together? I can't even imagine doing that now. Again, I'm like, oh God, kill me.
I mean, you know, to me, I always look at those diets and it's like a good, better, best. Because, I mean, there are some positives, right? So a lot of them take out a lot of those fibrous foods to people. And that's why a lot of people are like, I don't have gut problems anymore, which you won't if you eliminate tons of food and just eat a lot of fat. Your gut will do better, you know? And so there is some pluses, and I just don't think long-term it's going to be the best option for you, at least what I've seen with people. You know, if you can do keto long-term and you feel good, then more power to you. I haven't personally experienced that with people, but I don't also go into those keto worlds either. But anyways, to me, I'd rather eat more and eat food that I like and taste, and, you know, just having a bunch of fat as my main food doesn't sound appealing to me at all.
Well, I'm going to get off this call and go and make a coffee with milk and sugar and gelatin. So yeah, but thanks.
We're down to my 1%. We're down to my 1%.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. We better go. Oh, her battery's nearly down. But thanks again, Kate, and I'll see you next time.
You got it, Kitty.
Bye.